Hello everyone, No Respawns here. Hope you're having a grand weekend. So we finally got to see some gameplay footage for Starfield, and naturally, I'm really eager to give you my thoughts. For those who haven't watched it and just want to kind of get, you know, a couple of quick things answered straight off the bat, yes, it does have a form of base building. We did only see a very small amount of it, and I do have some thoughts of that, which I will get to later on. But yes, that's in. I did highly suspect it would be in, considering how much of it was a prolific element of all of their previous last kind of few games. And it's really cool to see that it's actually featured in the game. So yeah, what we saw was amazing. Really, really excited for this one. Really, really excited. In fact, thank you for the base building, Bethesda, because that just means that I have content, which is always good. I like building things if you guys hadn't already established already. So kind of first impressions is the game looks much slicker. The engine is definitely, I don't know if it's a completely new engine or it's a kind of like rebuilt engine, but it does look a lot better. A big thing that stood out for me was the character animations don't look as uncanny valley anymore, which is quite cool. I mean, we did see the robot and some kind of pre-rendered kind of cutscene footage, obviously prior to this gameplay footage, but to be honest, that really didn't give me an idea of, you know, what the facial expressions, and they look kind of fine now. They're not groundbreaking, to be honest, but they look good. They don't look weird, which is cool. The character creator looks amazing. They seem to be going a little bit more back a bit with a lot of the traits, especially stuff that kind of give you negative and positive effects, which I really, really like. I like the fact that if you watch the video closely, depending on kind of certain background feats that you take, at least there was one instance where someone reacted to you being a diplomat, which I thought was quite cool, because that means that, you know, there's a bit more of a, I just like when I build my character and it has kind of influence on the game throughout the game. It might just be it's right at the start, because it did mention that, you know, the way it was worded suggested this was at the start of the game, but we'll see. But either way, I quite like that. I think that's cool. This looks like a really, really exciting character creator. The fact that you can do things like even change the way your character walks is quite grand. It's quite cool that they've kind of clearly taken all the things that they've learned from all of their other games and are trying to kind of make something new and exciting, which is quite cool. Obviously, a huge one, literally, in fact, for those who didn't kind of watch the whole thing, the world map is massive, so you can go on every single planet in over 1,000 systems, so that's, I think, 100 systems, is it? And that's like 1,000 different planets. I think it's huge, basically, it's massive, which is quite exciting. One thing that does worry me a little bit, because the planets are massive, which means there's undeniably going to be some procedural generation in the landmass. Now, obviously, in the opening of the game especially, it looks really, really cool, so it's not an issue. But if you've ever played something like No Man's Sky, or Astroneer, or any of those kind of games that have kind of procedurally generated planets, they look fine, but they can look a little bit goofy sometimes. However, I would say that this has a bit more of a realistic graphical style, so it's kind of curious what they look like, as long as and it does look, because obviously there are kind of, you know, actual set piece areas, as long as it's a combination of these procedurally generated plus actual crafted areas, I'm kind of fine with it. I am expecting either to be quite underwhelmed by a lot of the way the planets look, like I'll just have too many and I'll be like, wow, cool, and then just only stay near the kind of more set piece areas, or there will be some sort of push for me to just spend ages and ages and ages and ages trying to find this kind of perfect area. And we'll say with that in mind, well, because the areas are probably procedurally generated, I do hope maybe there's some terraforming involved. The reason being is kind of an instance, kind of an issue that you had in Fallout 76 and a lot of the other kind of Fallout 4 when you used kind of a build anywhere mod, was the fact is that a lot of areas aren't built for bases, so therefore the landmass, it would either just be really sloped, there's not really many flat areas, so I'm kind of curious. Now, on the building, it itself does look quite cool. It doesn't look as modular as, at least what we've seen, as, say, Fallout 4 or Fallout 76. The reason why I say that is it looks a little bit more like No Man's Sky or Subnautica. So if you play any of those games, rather than having kind of bespoke, kind of put this wall here, this floor here, yada yada yada, you more have modules. So you have foundations and then you put the modules on the side. It did seem to give us quite a lot of customization from that very small amount of the outposts that you see, but it does worry me a little bit that I might not have the same level as I do in, say, even Fallout 76. But that's saying we don't really know. It did look very, very nice. And the thing is, the toss-up between that is, yeah, okay, we might not have any much individual customization at the beginning, but because we can kind of build anywhere by the looks of it, it means that we'll have a little bit more control over kind of where we're building and kind of the environment surrounding it. So I'm still quite excited. I'm actually really excited, in fact, because it will be very different from Fallout 4's, which is probably the kind of the pinnacle of the base building for the Fallout series right now. It's arguably better than 76's in many ways, but I am kind of keen to see what we can do, and I hope we get a little bit of a better, longer form video on the base building, so I can kind of get an idea and sink my teeth. Because I've used this building engine for so long, I'll be able to kind of look at it and go, okay, cool. Okay, cool. I'll be able to just see little things. I will say probably the reason why you can't say, for example, build walls is because of the fact that these are meant to be set on planets. But then, of course, you can do that in No Man's Sky. So I'm curious. I'm also curious, and this is me when you just use the engine for so long, in what way can I glitch things? You know, is it going to be like 76, where everything's going to be very, very snap, has to snap, and there are certain rules in place that mean you can't do other stuff? Or are they just going to turn those rules off and it be similar to Fallout 4 or the shelters in Fallout 76? It's quite exciting. I'm just really happy we have base building. On the subject of building, and I think this is where their kind of bigger, more exciting element of the building goes, is the fact that you can create your own spaceship and fly into space. And that is very, very cool. And what they show of this as well, it's very, very cool. It's very, very modular, but you seem to be able to slap things wherever you like. Reminding me a little bit of, actually, the game I've been playing, which has not spaceship building, but submarine building is Barotrauma. But that kind of thing, it does seem to be that you have quite a lot of flexibility with building your spaceship. So very, very excited. And I'm really keen to see exactly how this develops, and kind of what footage we're shown over the next, I guess, at least 6 months. I'm kind of saying March, February, so let's say about 8 months. That gives me time to just pick through every piece of footage they throw my way. Anywho, let me know what your thoughts of it. A couple of things that one of my friends pointed out was that the FPS did look a bit lower in the footage we saw. However, I think we kind of decided that it was probably more possibly because it was demo footage. For example, either they rendered it, or maybe they were recording at the same time. So I'm not too fussed about that, because generally speaking, Bethesda games, for all their issues, usually don't have FPS issues, as long as your computer's quite fast. And I said my big one possibly is the procedurally generated landmass being a bit dull. But the game looks really cool. I really like the fact that the characters look really cool, character generation. I did notice the fact that you can, your weapons appeared on the back of your spacesuit, which I really, really like. So they're bringing that back. I want to see more now. For fuck's sake, Bethesda, give me more. I need more. I'm insatiable. Anywho, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Get hyped. I might make a few longer form and more detailed breakdown videos on certain elements, definitely the building when I've done a little bit more sleuthing, and maybe if information comes light soon. Anywho, I love you all, get hyped, and I'll speak to you lovely people soon. You take care.